Hello everybody, I'm Zach Romero and welcome to the first of a series of Pay4Play reviews here on Horrible Horrors. Now what does that mean? That means that some amazing fans of this program have put their hard-earned money down and made demands to see me in pain and review whatever movie that they want to review. Our first patron to pony up are the fine folks at Flixology 101, a website dedicated to pairing the freshest combinations of beverages and film. They're good people. However, the film that they've chosen for me here, not so fresh. For our first film in this series, we will be looking at the 1982 Spanish-American slasher, Pieces. Now, I'm going to go into this thing pretty cold. However, for full transparency, I did want to point out that before watching this movie, I did get a chance to look at the original movie poster for it. And it might end up being my favorite part of the film. Specifically, the tagline, Pieces, exactly what you think it is. What an amazingly self-aware horror film. Why couldn't this have been the trend to set in the 80s horror genre? I mean, don't get me wrong, slashers are great, but if we had horror films that were actually honest in their marketing, I feel like that would do so much more good for the audience. Event Horizon. Yeah, but like, what if The Shining was in space?
Seed of Chucky.
It's basically just Jennifer Tilly fanfic now.
Sleepaway Camp.
Hey, y'all want to see a Peepus? Anyways, our film starts with your average young man spending his afternoon, like we all have, building a naked lady puzzle in his bedroom. But his mom comes in and decides, ooh, he's a real nasty brat, and she's gonna throw away his nudie puzzles, his magazines, boner Jenga. It's all going in the trash. He responds very maturely. Now you put the Transformers away, mother. That's our origin story, folks. The cops come in, the boy plays victim, and we jump a few decades to see a mysterious individual breaking out the boner toy box for old time's sake. We then immediately hop to technically our second kill of the film, as goofy Tina Hawk pro skater here goes right into a plate glass mirror. Pieces killer? I don't think you're allowed to count that one. Jason Voorhees doesn't take credit when an elder in the Crystal Lakes Shuffleboard Society dies of old age. That one doesn't count. So, official kill number 2 ends up being a real nasty chainsaw decapitation of a co-ed, which launches a campus-wide murder investigation.
They've just installed a waterbed in the training room.
Have you ever been laid on a waterbed?
The most beautiful thing in the world is smoking pot and f***ing on a waterbed at the same time.
The most realistic teenage dialogue ever put to film. We then meet suspect number 1, Professor Brown, who seemingly goes out of his way to give the creepiest and worst possible answers to basic investigative questions.
They want to ask you a few questions about the Palmer girl. She was attending your classes, wasn't she?
Pulling out next is suspect number 2, groundskeeper Bluto, who has a very similar chainsaw to the one used in the first campus killing, and can't stop making the face of someone in the midst of a gorgasm. Anyway, let's talk subtlety. Pieces. Exactly what you think it is.
Yes, a tiny net is a death sentence. It's a net and it's tiny.
So the boyfriend of the Water Wings girl is called into the dean's office because he's now suspect number 3, even though we in the audience know full well that's BS. We do see, however, the killer is keeping pieces of his victims on ice. Groundskeeper Bluto drops by the pool for a midnight not-so-skinny dip, only to find boyfriend Kendall and the bloody chainsaw. But before he can make chase, the cops bust in and, Bluto acts like a goddamn wild animal. So at this point, we've got most of our cast. Bluto the groundskeeper does get released from jail. Professor Touchy, Dean Eddie Munster, Kendall the apparent sex god because he just has 1,000 girlfriends in this movie. I don't know why. Detective, god damn it, the breather, and the victims. The gang's all accounted for, right? Wrong! So as with all great investigations, you gotta bring in the undercover tennis superstar to help solve the mystery. I genuinely have no clue why this is the case here, but this movie treats this like it's goddamn Serena Williams cameo, but it amounts to basically nothing. So from here we get a rinse and repeat cycle of tennis, murders, puzzles, detective going, damn it, damn it, damn it, and Kendall involved in way too much police work for a civilian. Once we've hit an adequate body count for the early 80s, we reach this game of cat and mouse between the not at all suspicious man in a trench coat and fedora and this student. Holy shit, her arm flew right off. Jesus. So I guess the elevator attack was an absolute success. As they pronounce the girl dead, Professor Shady comes in literally doing the worst job at looking any sort of innocent. Oh, geez, what's all the noise about? There's another murdered girl? What? That's crazy. Where was I? I was upstairs killing. So Kendall, who without, again, any real reason, the film has decided is just God's gift to dicking, leaves his kinky cohort.
What if you gagged me, huh? I wouldn't make any noise then.
You can gag me if you want. To go save the secret tennis cop from Bruce Lee? What the f*** is going on here?
Oh, hey, it's my Kung Fu professor. What's the story, Chow?
Kung Fu instructor?
I am out jogging, and next thing I know, I am on ground. Something I eat. Bad chop suey.
Bad chop suey? Pieces. Exactly what you think it is. We then jump to the most shocking kill of the movie. Shocking because it's the only kill with a knife to the head? No. Shocking because the goddamn stoner kids were right. They put a fucking waterbed in the training room! It's the Chekhov's gun of waterbeds. If you introduce a waterbed in the first act, you gotta have it pay off in the third! Also, this film somewhat revolutionized and invented the overused trope of jump scares for no goddamn reason by having Buzz, the boner-killing nerd over here, show up out of nowhere with a scary mask on to make Kendall and the audience poop a little. The Conjuring series and basically every horror film made after 2010 owes you a great deal of gratitude, pieces, you f***ing dicks. Also, this doofy nerd is now my new #1 suspect. But you know, for being a film that's considered basically like a video nasty, it's really not that bad. And there's a woman pissing herself, and whoa, Lord, that is gory as shit. Bastard! So now that we're about 10 minutes from the film stock running out, the movie decides to quit farting around and actually get to an ending. Junior Officer Kendall researches with the cops all the staff backgrounds to see if anyone ever went through a name change, because that's apparently enough motive in 1982. Meanwhile, Tennis Lady meets with Sweaty D. Munster, who turns out to utilize the old date rape special, spills some tea about Dr. Brown
As a homosexual.
and then decides to get real weird with it. Luckily, basically new Chief of Police Kendall figures this out, and they make it just in time to stop Dean Creeps from making Tennis Cop another victim. Killed his own mom, jerked off onto a Puzz 3D, changed his identity, waited 30 years, became the dean of a school, and started killing random women. The perfect crime. But the question remains, why? Why go through all this very realistic and not convoluted mess at all to chop and maim and keep the pieces? To build a woman out of spare parts, of course. Huh? What? Why doesn't the film go into that at all? They showed you the puzzle, f***o! It's called foreshadowing! So the body flips out of the cooler and scares the shit out of everyone. By God, if Friday the 13th had a random jump scare at the end, then damn it, so can we. Also, the film just moves on after that. Like, the cops are like, man, Kendall, you solved the case. You earned yourself a nap. And Kendall just sort of shrugs like, yeah, I guess, not acknowledging the heaping helping of nightmare fuel that just got cozy with him 10 seconds earlier. Kendall sees his 15th dead body in the film. Kendall literally has a Frankenstein's worth of female corpse parts fall on top of him and look into his soul, and his response is, well, better be hitting the old dusty trail. Movie's not done. The geniuses who put this thing together film themselves not one, but 2 stingers for the end, and by God, they were going to use both of them. Right before Kendall leaves to ignore trauma and, I guess, have a victory, the corpse made of random lady parts reaches up and scratches Kendall's penis off. There is justice in the world! So between this and the puzzle punishment in the beginning, the moral of the story is, dicks are bad, I guess. Pieces, real weird, wet, and wild adventure go on. It's quickly paced, but highly repetitive, and downright bizarre at times. It also reminds me so much of the tropes that were parodied in one of my favorite comedies, Student Bodies, which came out a year before Pieces? Now, historically, Pieces is a pretty interesting endeavor, especially because of its UK presence. In the mid-1980s, someone over in England woke up and realized, blimey, the entire VHS release system is completely unregulated. These real tots can walk into any old store and pick themselves up a tape with tits and butt and all that, and no one will pay them no mind. Well, we can't really have that now, can we? Time to do away with these video nasties. And so, massive censorship of VHS releases began, and right up there with Straw Dogs and The Exorcist was, you guessed it, pieces. So it garnered a cult status because of course it did. As soon as a snotty authority figure says you can't watch something, you want to watch it twice as hard. So overall, weird dialogue, the terrible characters, random kung fu encounters, and boo-boos come together to form pretty damn entertaining, dick-ripping good time. So Flixology 101, thank you for stepping up, allowing me to whore myself out, and I hope you enjoyed my thoughts on the film. Now, if you at home would also like to make your demands on what kind of film you want me to talk about, well, you've got the opportunity to by PayPaling your funding to fullygimmicked@gmail.com. Include your name and the title of the film. You can select a hot take, final 30, or a full-blown review, and I'll get to it as soon as I can. For everybody here, thank you so much for watching the show. I'm Zach Romero. I'll see you all next time.